Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, for none of them can stop the time. Depicted perfectly by the reggae musician, Rastafarian activist, and the legend Bob Marley. And therefore, it is through his words that I say to you, erase your fears. Your problem solver is here. But who is this problem solver? Is it me? Most probably. Is it you? That's for you to decide. Is it the egotistical suit-wearing packs that sit at the capital of our country and quarrel as place called toolbox disputers? I think I'll have to establish these three potential problem solvers as my analytical points of discussion. So, you will have the prodigious pleasure of an insight to my awesome artifice of problem solving, while having to endeavour the formidable facet of the politics and politicians of this confounded country, but still remaining rhapsodic to perceive your potential. Allow me to induct your incorporation to this information. Firstly, and very foremost, I will use this fine specimen to illustrate to you my perfected method of solving problems. I must say, I learned from the best. Post-disciplinary action and pre-lecture, my mother would always say, "My dear, beautiful, handsome, adorable son, the time between action and reaction that we have to process thought is what sets us apart from animals." Furthermore, Dr. Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist who founded the discipline of psychoanalysis, stated once that analysis does not set out to make pathological reactions impossible, but gives the patient's ego freedom to decide one way or another. So, according to two very diverse professionals in their own rights, the key to problem solving is to stop and think. Something I have been fortunate enough to master and establish as my problem solver. For instance, at a social gathering once upon a time, I was confronted by the ever so tempting offer of a companionship for the night. Luckily, I'm a natural problem solver, and I stopped to think about the consequences of this companionship. I had to consider the intentions of this potential companion, my own intentions, how this would affect my reputation, and how I would see this decision in hindsight. The result of that evening is irrelevant. What is relevant is the process followed to making that decision. So, problem solver? Check. Now to the politicians. John, King, Phil, Goff, Jerry Longy. But I tread lightly as I mention the name Tato Philip Field. I'm not one to judge. I merely mention analyse facts to state my points. However, in 2005, Tato Philip Field was stripped of his ministerial post. He was alleged to have misused his ministerial authority to obtain a working permit for a non-resident who worked as a tiler at reduced rates on his home in Samoa. Also misusing his post to receive a discounted price on a property from a low-income welfare beneficiary. In 2007, he was expelled from the Labour Party, and following further proceedings in 2009, he was found guilty of 26 charges, 11 of 12 bribery and corruption charges, and 15 of 23 charges in relation to the attempted provision of justice. He was jailed for 6 years. This is simply an example of the extremities of the common corruption within power. What frightens me is that there are many more similar instances of a minor scale that haven't seen such punishment, yet morally they share the same level of deception. I'm not saying our politicians don't do good work, but our employed and well-paid problem solvers can and must be better. As Edison Haynes said, with every civil right, there has to be a corresponding civil obligation. So, problem solver? Question mark. Now, it's easy to point the finger and rebuke fault onto another, but we must take responsibility for ourselves. How much effort do we actually put into solving our own problems? As Winston Churchill said, continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. Also, Mahatma Gandhi stated once that the difference between what we are willing to do and what we are able to do would suffice to solve most of the world's problems, thus demonstrating the extent of our potential. I don't like to use the word potential because the definition of the word is the extent of possibility, a latent excellence that may or may not be developed. In my opinion, potential is futile. Money sitting in a safe defying its only purpose to be used. I believe that realizing our potential is more simple than apparent, merely a task that requires of us only that of which we have to offer. The most intricate part of the task is equalizing what we are willing to do with what we are able to do. So let us not sit and wallow in potential. Let us deliver it unto reality and liberate our avian ability. As explained in the Bible, Genesis chapter 9 verse 2, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon all the beasts of the earth, and upon all the fowls of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. And so, I leave you with a few words of Franklin D. Roosevelt from his inaugural speech. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. Problem solver, to be continued. Thank you.